Hi guys, Tony with Klinik RC. I just want to make a quick little video here showing an adjustment that is pretty commonly overlooked that's pretty important. So I'm changing my S12 S-Works over from carpet to dirt settings. And one of those settings is we shorten the wheelbase quite a bit. So on this adjustment right here on carpet, we have the arm full long, and on dirt we have it full short, and that's a 4mm adjustment right there. So what this means is the arm is able to move 4mm back and forth. So in the manual it doesn't mention this at all, but this is something you want to check, is when you mount your shocks to your shock tower, you want to move the shocks with the arm back and forth. So on setup sheets of just about every brand out there, you'll see sometimes they'll mention how much spacing they use on the upper shock to get it back and forth and lined up correctly. Most of the other cars have quite sloppy upper mountings, meaning the shock will move quite a bit back and forth and pivot. And on the S-Works, it's pretty precise. There's not a lot of slop in this. So you have to have the shock pretty much right on the money to make sure that you don't have any binding in the full stroke of the shock. So on my car, I spent a while to get it all perfect, and with the arms fully forward, I'm at 5 1/4 spacing on the shocks to actually get it to where there's no binding at all. And the way that I figured this out is you can mount one end or the other, and then the shock will kind of center itself where it wants to be, and then just use the washers for that correct spacing. On some cars, this binding can be so bad that when you land jumps, it can break the top of the transmission off. I've seen it in multiple different brands. So you want to make sure that that gets set up correctly. And this will also land jumps and handle way better with no binding. And if you put all that load on your shocks, when the suspension stroke works, it's going to push super hard against the piston and the body also. You could also bend a shock shaft, like all kinds of things could go wrong. On the front, I've also added some shims here because I've changed the kick up. So when you change the kick up, it rolls the shock forward and backward. So in the front, I've used 2.25mm. And this is just approximate. You can check on your car, it might be a little bit different. But that's just a little tidbit that I wanted to put out there to let people know to check that.